Yeah, we're excited about it being game week. Finally, it's here, and we're excited to play somebody else besides ourselves. I feel like it's been a long time coming. I feel good with where we're at. Um, these next few days are still important. We're just fine tuning some things, but we've got to get out there and we've got to play somebody else, and we got to put it out there. So I'm excited about seeing our guys go out there and play. Excited about getting on the road and traveling down to Florida, and excited about the opportunity we have. FAU is a great team. Know a lot of those guys on their coaching staff and know what they've been putting together. I know they're going to be coached really well. Coach Partridge does a good job. I know the assistants that he's hired. So they're going to be well coached. They're going to be prepared. They've got really great athleticism with some of the kids that they have on that roster. So it'll be a great test for us. Week one, we'll find out a lot about our team.
How good is FAU's defense compared to last year? They're projected to win twice as many games as they did last year.
Yeah, I don't think you really know until you go out there and play. It's the first game for them too. So we just know that they, athletically, they're going to be really good. They had a really, really good defensive line last year. I know a couple of those guys are gone, but they'll just reload, and so it'll be a good test for us. So I expect them to be really good.
Nick, you were part of beating an FBS team as a player, and so what do you feel like is the biggest challenge that a program like FAU presents?
I think that you have to go down there with the mindset that you're going down there to win the game. Anytime you're in these situations and you're just going down there happy to compete, you're not going to win. So we got to get our guys believing that we're going down there to win the game. We're going to compete, and so I think that obviously in any game on the road, especially when you're playing a team that has more scholarships, supposed to be deeper, is we can't turn it over on the road, and we got to play well on special teams to be in any game like that. And going back to the games that we won, for the 2 years that we beat an FBS team, we played really well on special teams. Just thinking back, I mean, we got an onside kick and we made long field goals. We got an onside kick at the end of the game to beat Northern Illinois. So special teams is huge, and turnovers are huge, just like in any game.
What did John tell you about Trey Hendrickson? Because John was at Florida last year.
Yeah,
Florida late.
yeah. I mean, they played him, I think, the second to last game. I mean, he's done a good job of, especially playing against a lot of those guys. But it's a new year. I think just like anything, we got to the biggest thing that we can control going into that. They're going to have new schemes for this year. They're going to have players that come out there and surprise us, freshmen and redshirt freshmen that we have no idea about. We got to control the things that we can control, and it starts with effort and assignments. And so that's what this week's all about, is going out there and sharpening up on ourselves, and then we got to go out there and be ready really for anything.
So this week's more of a learning curve than anything.
I don't think it's a learning curve. I think it's just more just polishing up on the things that we've put in back from the spring to this fall, and making sure we're sharp on the game plan, and really feeling comfortable with everything we're doing.
What
They
sort
have a new offensive coordinator and running a high tempo, up tempo offense. It sounds like it's similar. How similar is it actually to what you guys are doing?
We'll see. I mean, Coach Trickett's a good friend of mine. Does a really good job anywhere that he's ever been. So they have the athletes to go fast. I think they'll still, they've got the weapons to be really good at it. So it's just like anything. The first game, they're going to have some things that we just got to be ready to go. I mean, our defense goes against us every single day, so I think it's prepared them somewhat. I'm sure we're not going to be the exact same. So, but they'll be, like I said, I know a lot of those coaches, they're going to be coached up really well, and their schemes will be sound, and we got to be ready to just go out there and play and be sound ourselves.
You start prepping for this first game, sooner than you do for most regular games.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bye week. You usually are able to steal a couple practices, more so than you would on a regular week, just because we've had extra time leading up to it. So yeah, you're right. We really got into FAU practices last Thursday, so we were able to get a couple more than you normally would in a normal week.
What's your biggest concern heading into the
I don't know, concern-wise. Obviously, as a head coach, this is my first game as a head coach. So, I'm excited about watching them go out there and see how it unfolds. I know we're going to be prepared. Really like the way the staff and everybody, this isn't our first go-around. So, really just getting out there and watching our guys go. We got to trust the process of everything that we've done for a reason leading up to this, is to prepare for a game. And then you got to let your guys go out there and play. You never know how the game's going to go, but I feel good about our preparation and the things that we've done. Spring ball, summer, fall camp, there's really not a situation that we haven't put them in. So we're going to be prepared, and then ultimately, just like I always say, players, that's their time to go out and have fun, and players win you games. We're going to have to make plays and play well to be in the game.
You have a good chunk of players from Florida, so it's kind of like a homecoming for a lot of them, and some of them even were passed over by SIU for scholarships. So how do you balance, their motivation with, being too emotional?
Yeah, it's a special time for a lot of those guys going back home. It'll be the only time, that they'll play in the state of Florida. Probably their entire career. Just there's no FCS schools down there that would play, and nobody else is on our schedule the next 4 years. So, I want them to enjoy it. I hope they have, tons of family, and that's just part of. It's just like anywhere else we'd go and play, and somebody else is close to home. It's. I'm glad that we're able to do it. So many of them are from down there. So it's an exciting time. You want to play in front of your family, Everybody's going to have a little pregame jitters and stuff, but once that game gets going, you're going to want to compete and play hard, just like no matter where the game is.
What are you looking forward to in your first game as a head coach?
I'm just excited about the entire thing. Just getting out there and seeing the guys. Just like I keep saying, just watching them play. Seeing what the preparation, the practice, and the things that you've done. You finally get to see them go out there, and you're so many times now in practice we're on opposite sidelines going against each other. Now we finally get to come together as one unit, and all the guys, competing to try to get a win. You only get 11 guaranteed of these things. You're not very many. 11 days out of the entire year you get to suit it up on game day and go out there and play, and this is one of the 11. So we're not going to take it for granted. We're going to be out there, we're going to compete, and we're going to have fun.
What are the two tackles shown you, Nick?
Do what?
The two tackles you have, what have they shown you, and how good do you think they'll be in pass protection at this point of the season?
Well, we're confident in all the guys that we're going to put out there. They obviously have a really good defensive line, pass rusher. We've got to do some things to help our guys out, but at the end of the day, we put them out there. We're confident in their abilities. It's up to us as coaches to know the strengths of all of our team and put them in the right situations to be successful. But we feel good about. Obviously Austin, has played a lot of games here, and feel really good about him. And then our right tackle will be Ben Bailey and Devondre Scooter will one of those guys that'll be their first start. So. But that's for a lot of guys. Somebody at some point you got to start your first game. So, but we feel good about the way that they've been preparing and the camp that they've had.
Will any of your true freshmen be on the traveling squad, or will any of them get any playing time?
Yeah, we've talked about DJ Davis on offense will play. Malik Haynes on the defensive line will play. And then really those two guys we'll travel. I think we're traveling 6 guys. But ultimately you'd like to redshirt some of them. You just see how, the season goes, especially in these non-conference games. You can travel as many as you can take, that we want, and dress as many. It gets the tricky part is in conference when you can only have so many people dressing out. So especially for these games, it'll be good for them too. Some of those guys that might not play in the game just get the experience of traveling and being on the road and getting their feet wet a little bit.
Do you feel any extra pressure to succeed this year, being that you are from the Southern Illinois area, and there's a whole weight of winning more than 3 games since last year? Do you feel any added pressure being in the first year?
We'll put pressure on ourselves no matter what season it is to win. That's the goal. we're not looking at the schedule and saying, hey, we're going to lose 3 or 4 or 5 games. I mean, shoot, I want to win them all, and it starts with this one. So yeah, definitely. If you don't feel a little pressure, I mean, we want to get to be a program that has to play with the expectations of winning games.
Their left tackle, I think, was in a car accident just before the weekend, and their quarterback played a little bit last year because of injuries, but doesn't have a ton of experience. Will you guys be more aggressive in pressuring him?
Really, we haven't spent a lot of time. We got to control what we can control. They're going to put out a good team. They're going to have, if they're left tackle, their backup left tackle's got to be ready to go, and I don't think it's going to change what they're going to do. Jason is a kid that I know, Driscoll, from my time living in Orlando. Trained him a little bit. Know his brother and where he went to high school, and his high school baseball coach. So I've known him since he was a junior in high school. He's a tough kid, and he's going to do a good job. He was able to get a lot of experience last year. He only started in 2 games, but he played in 9, I think. I've always thought he's a good quarterback. He's tough. Reminds me a little bit of Mark from last year, his mentality. His brother is kind of like that too. We've seen his brother at Florida and then Louisiana Tech and got drafted last year. So they're tough kids, and he does a good job. So obviously, he beat out a really good quarterback in Daniel Parr. So he's had to have a good camp, and they feel good about him. So, they're a good team, talented. They've recruited well, and so like I keep saying, I mean, all those guys that they put out there are going to be good players.
What kinds of things did Trickett do at Sanford? Does he do similar plays that you did last year, or what kind of stuff does he like to do?
I mean, all of us run a bunch of the same stuff. It's just maybe some window dressing on different plays, but it all ultimately comes down to your players executing. None of us, he'd be the first to tell you too, don't have a magic playbook. So a lot of some of the stuff will probably do the same. Some of the stuff will be a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, they obviously they want to go fast, no huddle. So we'll find out. I'm sure both of us on both sides that first quarter, what the plan is, and we just got to be able to react and go from there.
Coach Partridge comes from a special teams background at Arkansas, and I know they have a really good punter. What's impressed you about their various special teams units?
Yeah, I think that they do a really good job. They're sound in everything they do. I think when, especially me as a young head coach, I mean, just watching special teams. Whenever you see a team that's good on special teams, that means that they're coached up, because every little detail is sound, and especially from the head coaching position, making sure that that's sound. And usually you're good on special teams when you have an athletic team too, getting down on kickoff, punt blocks, punt return, and they've got a lot of athletes, so they're going to be good on special teams. We've got to be good on special teams. Coach Nunez has been doing a great job. Feel good about where we're at on special teams too, but just like anything, it's a little bit different when those lights turn on, so you got to go out there and perform, when it's game time.
Who will be your returners on kickoffs and punts?
We actually
Next game.
Yeah, I mean, Billy's returned punts. Heck, Matt DeSoma returned punts last year. Craig James returned them at Minnesota. So, they all do a little bit different, and just depending on how the game goes, who will be back there. But it could be a couple of them.
As far as kickoffs too.
Yeah, kickoffs the same way. I mean, Daquan did it for us last year. Aaron Stanton's done it last year. DJ Davis does a good job at it. Yeah, we feel good about our return game, and it'll be a good time for those guys to go out there and prove it on Saturday.
Calling plays on offense, how much influence will you have, or will you call the plays?
Yeah, I'll call the plays. John will be in the box and has done a great job and still does. I mean, and he'll have a heavy influence on all the play calling. And so it'll be nice, having him up in the box. I mean, you can see so much better from up there, and he's a detailed guy. I mean, is one of the most detailed people I've ever been around. So it'll be good. We'll kind of, but yeah, I'll call it from the field, and I'm excited about it. Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it will. It'll be a you know special moment. I'm sure I'll always remember your first game. No matter how it goes. So I'm looking forward to it. That's why we do it. We got to go out there and play, and so I'm excited about it. This is the everything is a process, but you really do it for Saturdays and playing and going out there, and so I'm really excited about Saturday.
Coach, I'm doing a story on Israel Lampracus. What does he mean to this team? He's a 6-year senior. That's rarely seen. Like, how does he connect with the team?
Izzy's, I mean, he's a team guy. We know his story. He's been around here for a long time. A lot of people joke about him. He's been through, I mean, 6 training camps now. So he's done an unbelievable job. The best I've seen him, as far as really locked in on a season, meaning something to him. So I'm excited that Izzy's a senior leader on this team. That's for sure.
Have you ever encountered a 6-year senior before?
Yeah, we've had a couple. I played with one, and so you see it around college football, especially when you've redshirted and then you get hurt and then you get one.
How common is it, or how rare is it to see?
I'd say you see quite a few each year. Somebody get them. Obviously the NCAA looks at it and sees what your case is, but there'll be somebody get them again this year.
For you, you've talked about the emotions, but what preparations have you made for the different role that you will have? Not that you'll have play calling roles, but when the defense is out there, what do you have you prepared?
Yeah, I think just you've got to be, everything falls on your shoulders. You got to manage the game, the clock management, going for it, timeouts, all that kind of stuff, special teams, how aggressive you want to be, fakes, all that kind of stuff. So, but then again, also, I mean, relying on your assistants, the people in the box. But yeah, you definitely got to prepare yourself, challenges, all those type of things that, in the past, as an offensive coordinator, as soon as the drive's over, you're thinking about the next series, you're thinking about plays, you're thinking about talking to the quarterback, and so that will be different. But I'm looking forward to that part as well.
Since you are calling plays, how will that? I mean, I know you don't know it yet because you haven't done it, but in your head, how has that played out?
Yeah, I think that, and I'm, it'll be a learning experience for me too. As far as the game operation and how. So, I mean, that's why John, Coach Van Dam, has done a great job of coaching the quarterbacks. So, I mean, he will fill that role as far as when the quarterbacks come off. I mean, obviously, I'm down there with them. We can talk in between series, and but it's going back. That's how Coach Kill was. Coach Kill, called the plays when I was here, and sometimes he'd be over there with the entire offense quickly, and so it's just a feel thing. I think it's just how the game is going is how you'll be as a head coach on the sideline.
How much do you plan on using tight end John Gardner this week and going forward this season?
I mean, John's done a good job all training camp. He's had an ankle here the last few practices, but he'll be dressed and ready to go. And he's done a good job. I'm excited about John. He brings some energy to our team, just our locker room. So he'll be counted on to be out there on Saturday.
Who do you think you're going to start at cornerback, Nick?
Right now we feel we got 3 guys that are going. Craig, James, Roman Tatum, C.J. Jennings will be the 3 corners that play in the game a lot. And especially in a game like this, as much running, as much up-tempo offense as they'll be. I mean, that's something that we got to monitor is really well, is with our trainer and our strength coaches on the sideline is cramping up. We're going to be playing in Florida, and understanding that, hey, we're going to need a lot of guys playing, and how, if they're on special teams, how much running they're doing on special teams, then have to go out there. So we feel good about those guys at corner, though.
How many guys do you think you can fit on the plane?
We're traveling 75 guys right now.
The last couple of years, and this is going to sound way out left field. The last couple of years, there have been players that either have been suspended or let go because of marijuana use. How do you plan to address that type of situation, like disciplinary stuff, or how's that approach going?
Yeah, I mean, we approach that. I mean, the first day I got the job, I mean, you got to act right, you know. If you don't act right, then yeah, you're going to be disciplined.
Do you expect, just given that you lived in Orlando for a while and it's fairly close to there, do you expect to have a big contingent of old friends and people that you knew in that area?
Yeah, I think there'll be quite a few people. You know, I got family members that live in Tampa, and all of them are coming, and so got a lot of people. Some other coaches, from that I coach with in Orlando are coming down. So, I've gotten to know a lot of the people in West Palm Beach County, just high school coaches in Broward County and Dade. So be able to get out, and then we'll get out on Friday night too. A couple coaches to use it as a recruiting, advantage too. Friday night, get out to see some guys that we're recruiting right now, which will be nice.